I'm gonna be saying subscribe 500 times in a row. So you better subscribe, or he'll be under your bed.
Uh-huh.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Subscribe.
Wait,
Subscribe.
I'm going VR.
Subscribe.
I lost count.
Subscribe.
Oh, how much has it been?
The way I hit that high note. Subscribe. 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 Subscribe to me. You better subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
You're a tenth of the way there.
Subscribe. Subscribe. So we're at 100?
No, a tenth is 50. Now
I'm
52.
smart. Subscribe. 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 That counted as one right there. The subscribe. You know. Subscribe. Stop twerking. Subscribe. Subscribe. What am I on? Subscribe. Oh, look at that chicken.
Drugs.
Chicken.
Yo. You have ADHD.
Oh! It's a beautiful.
I'm gonna take Keep saying subscribe.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Subscribe. Subscribe.
We're at 70.
Subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
He is so right.
Subscribe.
I cannot make
control.
this.
Subscribe.
What do you do? What do you do?
Subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
Look at this dude.
Subscribe. Look at this guy. Subscribe. Where are we at?
Almost 100.
Subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
He's still right, by the way.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Subscribe.
Oh no. Oh no. He's still chasing me.
Subscribe. 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 100. Subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
You locked me in this
Subscribe.
basement.
Subscribe.
in this basement.
Subscribe. Subscribe to me. Am I saying it right anymore? I
See you
forgot.
guys in the next
Subscribe.
one,
Right?
alright? Bye.
I think so.
He
I don't
locked
know.
me in this
Subscribe.
basement, guys. Subscribe to let me out.
Subscribe.
Oh no, he's coming back.
Also, Joe's locked in my basement, so subscribe to let him out. Subscribe. You can see my tongue. I'm bald. Subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
Don't talk about what's happening.
Subscribe to me, and we will be happy. Subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
I'm still behind you.
Subscribe. Subscribe. What are we at?
133.
Subscribe. 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 Subscribe.
I just realized how long this video is going to be.
Subscribe. We're at 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Subscribe. 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 Scribe. What is scribe? Subscribe. 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 subscribe, 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 subscribity, subscribity, 6, 7, subscribe, 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 subscribe.
6, 7.
What are we at?
Sorry. 180.
Subscribe. Just
Bro, what?
subscribe. Just subscribe. All you gotta do is subscribe. Subscribe. I'll give you cookie. I'll go cookie. Subscribe. You get cookie if you subscribe. So you better subscribe. You know, just like subscribe. Subscribe. What? Subscribe. What?
No, it's not.
What are we at?
201.
Yay! Subscribe. Just 300 more. Subscribe.
Oh, I want to buy a grandma so bad.
Not subscribe. He's counting on Cookie Clicker, by the way. Subscribe.
Wait, how much are
Also,
you at?
guys, if you've made it
210.
this far, comment bread in the comments. Subscribe.
I need to know so I can actually do it good.
Subscribe. What are we at?
217.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
Okay, wait, what are we at?
Subscribe. Also, if anyone has
Guys,
any
I'm
video
sorry to say, but
ideas,
he's a
comment
foot
them.
licker.
Subscribe.
He's a foot licker. Ask how much more.
Subscribe. How much are we at?
He's a foot licker.
142.
142.
What?
242. My bad.
Subscribe.
My fault.
Subscribe. Subscribe. What are we at now?
250.
Yeah. Subscribe. 7 minutes in. Subscribe.
He's in our basement.
Subscribe.
What are we at, Arda? 230. I mean, 232. 260.
Oh,
He's a
260.
foot licker.
Subscribe.
Tim.
Subscribe.
Tom, you're back.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Oh, look at my bird. You see it right here? You see it? Subscribe.
Guys, I
Subscribe.
found Tom. Sorry.
Subscribe. Just what are we at?
284.
Subscribe.
Finally found you.
Subscribe. What? Subscribe. I'm getting like 1 subscribe every second, you know? Let's make it 2 per second. Subscribe.
Uh-oh.
300.
300.
Subscribe.
Almost there.
I can't talk.
I lost count.
Subscribe.
What are you doing?
Subscribe.
I'm gonna eat you.
Subscribe.
Look at, oh.
Subscribe.
Your mom will start running.
Subscribe. Crispito. What? Subscribe.
Oh.
Subscribe.
Damn, I chased.
Subscribe. What are we at? Subscribe.
336.
Subscribe. What? Subscribe.
I'm perching.
Subscribe. subscribe, 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 subscribe,
You're my baby.
subscribe,
Yo, what are you doing?
subscribe, 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 spy ride, subscribe, subscribe,
Thought I was gonna
subscribe.
Joe.
So what are we at?
372.
Subscribe. Tell me when we get 400. Subscribe.
Come here, Drew. I'm gonna do it to you.
Subscribe. Hi. Subscribe.
We can't be safe.
Subscribe.
We can't be safe.
Subscribe. Have you subscribed? Subscribe. Yeah, you should.
Mama, you.
Subscribe.
400.
Yeah, subscribe. 100 more. No, 99 more. Subscribe. Guys, do a countdown. Oh my god, I hate you. I'm sorry, that was mean. Subscribe. Guys, do a countdown. What are we at?
96.
Alright, guys, do a countdown. Subscribe.
95.
Subscribe.
94.
Subscribe.
Wait, I lost count.
Subscribe.
This is two facts.
Subscribe. Is that you, Rax? Subscribe. What is that? Is that
That's
a
a
nug?
ball rug.
That's a nug.
That's a ball rug.
Subscribe. What are we at?
426.
Subscribe. It's not that hard. It's free and it's easy and it's like really simple and it would help me.
It's like one button.
I know. Subscribe. Like just subscribe, you know? Just like subscribe. Subscribe. Capri Sun. No, what? Subscribe. Subscribe.
Dinosaur.
Subscribe.
Sorry.
Subscribe.
You know, I'm gonna give you more
Subscribe.
massages.
What are we at?
3 more until 450.
Subscribe. 50 more, guys. Do a countdown. Subscribe.
50.
Subscribe.
49.
Subscribe.
48,
Subscribe.
47.
Subscribe.
46.
Subscribe.
44.
Subscribe.
42.
Subscribe.
41.
Subscribe.
39.
Subscribe.
38.
Subscribe.
37.
Subscribe.
36.
Subscribe.
35.
Subscribe.
34.
Subscribe.
33.
Subscribe. 2
32.
more minutes. Subscribe.
31.
Subscribe.
30.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
29.
Subscribe.
Never mind.
Subscribe.
I lost count. 26.
Subscribe.
24. 23. 22.
Subscribe.
21.
Lava Crispitos.
20.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
19.
Wait, hold on. If you made it this far, comment.
18.
I'm the biggest bird in the comments. I'm the biggest bird.
18.
Subscribe.
I'm giving you
18.
massages too.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
I lost count.
Subscribe. How many more?
Wait,
How much?
one more, real quick.
Subscribe.
7,
10 left.
Subscribe.
10,
Subscribe.
9,
Subscribe.
7,
Subscribe.
6,
Subscribe.
5,
Subscribe.
4,
Subscribe.
3,
Subscribe.
2,
Subscribe.
Yeah, time to buy 5
You want a massage?
grannies.
Now
Here,
everybody
massage.
Yeah,
subscribe.
Turn
five
around.
Like,
grandmas.
actually, if you don't subscribe, I'm gonna cry. Like this.
Yeah, please.
She gonna call me.
Subscribe to the